Hello Internet, and welcome to another episode of Gaming Strategy. Today we're going to take a look at another Pokemon, and it goes by the name of Lucario. Now, let me be totally honest. Lucario is my favorite Pokemon of all time. I can talk about movesets for him for days. He's really versatile. The Mega that got added in X and Y made him even more versatile. And then on top of that, all of the move tutor moves he gets from ORAS just make him an extremely powerful Pokemon, Mega or not. Obviously he's going to be stronger Mega. That's a given. But even his non-Mega form is absurdly powerful. And his shiny, that's it. His shiny? Yeah, his shiny looks awesome. I love his shiny. I have a shiny 6 IV, and let's get to the video. Okay. With Lucario, I'm going to start with my original build that I had before Gen 6 was a thing. And it was extremely strong then, and it's still extremely strong. Now, this is Mega Lucario, but it carried over in with his Mega, and it just made him that much stronger. Okay, so Lucario's stats: 70 HP, that's his 70 HP, 110 attack, 70 defense, 115 special attack, 70 special defense, and 90 speed. In his normal form, he is a much stronger special attacker because those 5 extra points with Nasty Plot and multiplications and stuff, he does more damage with special attacks. Okay, period. But he's still an extremely strong physical attacker. And he became even stronger with the addition of Megas. So the original build was Close Combat, Bullet Punch, Earthquake, Shadow Claw. Close Combat. Fighting type move, stab, really powerful, hits for a lot. Bullet Punch, priority, stab, hits for a lot. Earthquake, takes care of those fire types that people may throw at you, hits for a lot. Shadow Claw kills those psychic types that people are going to throw at you, hits for a lot. It just makes him awesome. I mean, he can cover his weaknesses, and he covers his strengths. One of the best builds that I've come up with, and it works really well, and until ORAS, and then there's even better builds. You can take any of these and replace them with Swords Dance. You are cutting down your coverage and your actual stab moves. Either one, you had to pick one. You had to take out your coverage or take out your stab. Can't have both. If you go with Swords Dance, my best thing was I ran him with a dedicated Swords Dance buffer who was able to pass those Swords Dance buffs to him, utilizing a lagging tail. That way, Lucario came in after the tanky Swords Dancer got hit. So the Swords Dancer would take the hit and switch to Lucario, so Lucario could come in and you get a clean switch in with the stats. Because his health is actually kind of low, his defenses are okay, so the clean switches are great. He's extremely fast, and he gets priority, and I'm excited to talk about Lucario. With the addition of Mega, he gets adaptability, which gives him basically double stab. So instead of doing 1.5 times his stab, does 2 times, which is amazing. And so that Close Combat does even more, that Bullet Punch does even more, and you just kill stuff. With his non-Mega abilities, you have Justified, Inner Focus, and Steadfast. Inner Focus is great. Can't be flinched. Stops those fake out attempts. Just so much stuff. Steadfast is great too, because then if they do flinch you, then you get a speed boost. That's bad for them. Justified gives you an attack boost when you get hit by a dark type. That doesn't really stop the fake outs, but it makes you stronger if you get faked out. And fake out's not going to do any damage. It's just going to make you flinch. But it's a dark type move, so therefore you get an attack boost. There's a lot of mind games that come into which ability you want to pick. And when it comes right down to it, it's all personal preference. And unless you're running him in doubles, and then Justified is the way to go, especially if, like in my last video, where we looked at Absol with Justified, we get to look at Lucario with Justified with the same shenanigans. So you get instant ×4 Lucario that can then mow down everything. I don't care what it is. It's gonna die. Period. And with his new additions in ORAS, you don't have to run a Citrus Berry anymore. ORAS gives him Drain Punch. ORAS gives him Dual Chop. ORAS gives him Iron Defense. He becomes the biggest physical tank in the world. If you're running him doubles, you can drop this Swords Dance. So we're looking at Iron Defense, Swords Dance, Drain Punch, Bullet Punch. If you're like I said, if you're running him in doubles, you can drop the Swords Dance for an Ambi Palm and just max out his stats instantaneously. And then, you know, first turn Iron Defense and max out his stats with Ambi Palm, and then mow everything down, insta-killing it and max healing yourself with Drain Punch, with the Shell Bell heals on top of that. Shell Bell's not, like, required, but it with the Drain Punches, it helps his sustain. Especially seeing that you can Bullet Punch a Fairy and still get some health back, or Bullet Punch a Ghost type and still get some health back. It really helps with that sustain, and although you could switch that with Citrus Berry, you could switch that with an Air Balloon to keep those Earthquakes off of you, at least for a little bit. That is, unless, of course, you're running Ambi Palm, and then you're going to instantaneously break an Air Balloon, and that's useless. Some other things, Weakness Policy, Bright Powder. There's quite a few things that you can put on him that will help. You could always, seeing that you can always Life Orb him. You're going to take a little bit of your health away every attack, but you're gaining it back with Drain Punch. So, if you don't get time to get him set up, or something happens, Life Orb can be a very terrible pick, but it does make him do more damage overall. So, I do like the Shell Bell, though. It's my favorite in terms of the attacks that he can get, because that extra heal is it's useful. As for his stats for the Ambi Palm, Iron Defense, for the Iron Defense Swords Dance build, you're gonna want to go with Max Defense. I like getting him to an even number-ish, like that 80 EVs in attack, and then 176 in HP. It was 325 in HP, and then it gives him a little bit more attack than he does on base, and then giving him the Impish Nature, so that way he has even more defense. So he becomes this huge defense wall. He's 262 base, you get Iron Defense, you start rocking that defense, and then you get 1 or 2 Iron Defenses off, you Swords Dance once or twice, depending on how much damage you're taking, and then you start Drain Punching everything to death. And then Iron Defense as you can until you can get that ×4, and then Swords Dance as you can until you can get that ×4, unless you Ambi Palm it, and then you instantly have ×4 on your attack, and you can switch that Swords Dance with, you can Close Combat, you can Brick Break to drop things like that off, you can give him Dual Chop for that Dragon type coverage. He just, get so much stuff from ORAS that make him even better. And so let's take a look at this another build. I can go on about that one for quite some time. This one's just going to be a standard Swords Dance, Close Combat, Drain Punch, Bullet Punch with a Life Orb. Yet again, ability is, you can pick whatever you want. Ability is all personal preference unless you're running him in doubles and you have an Ambipom you want to throw at him. Literally. Life Orb for that extra damage. And then you have just wipe everything off the map. Close Combat, Drain Punch, Bullet Punch. Everything's dead. Because he's just going to do a ton of damage once he hits. Even one Swords Dance, he's going to do a ton of damage. Get 3 Swords Dances, everything's just insta-death. He gets the sustain off Drain Punch as long as they're not a ghost. If they're a ghost, you can Bullet Punch them until they die. And then, if you really need that, like, one more kill and you've already killed one or two of your opponents and you have some stuff left in the backup, you can Close Combat and it's going to kill whatever's on the field. And then it's going to lower his defenses, but he's going to go 1-1 at minimum. He should go more than that, especially with his new Drain Punch. It just gives him so much sustain, so much survivability, especially because of how hard he hits. He's just max heal, max heal, max heal. That takes out Heatran one hit with a single Swords Dance. That takes out... I mean, he's basically Gallade with more defense and more attack. And it makes him awesome. Yeah, let's move on to a special attacker build. This goes for non-Mega and Mega. Obviously, Mega's a better attacker, but it just shows that he can be anything. When you send him out, people can see, oh, that's a Lucario, so he's going to be a glass cannon physical attacker. Well, no, he can be a super hard-hitting, invincible physical tank. Or he can be a super hard-hitting, relatively beefy sweeper, physical and special, or physical or special. Wouldn't recommend running both. Mixed Lucario is... But he gets Nasty Plot. That's like Swords Dance or special skills, so he gets huge boosts to his special. And then he gets coverage for everything. So you get Shadow Ball, you get Aura Sphere, you get Flash Cannon. For his special, he also gets like Dragon Pulse, Aqua Pulse. He gets, I think he gets Psychic. He gets, let's see, what else does he get? Yeah, any hidden power. He gets Hyper Beam. I think everything gets Hyper Beam. Yeah, he gets coverage for pretty much every type that can super him, and he can super them back with huge special attack, both in his regular and Mega forms. And then he can Nasty Plot on top of that to do even more damage. And now on to his ORAS Mega. This thing is absolutely insane with how much damage that he can deal out and with how little setup he needs. You can run him with no setup, drop the Swords Dance that I have right there, and give him Earthquake. And he requires no setup, and then he can drop fire types like that. But Swords Dance, Drain Punch, Dual Chop, Poison Jab. Now, yes, you can drop Poison Jab for Bullet Punch. Poison Jab does the same amount of damage his stab adaptability gives to bullet punch, because it's 80, and then the ×2 makes the 40 80. Bullet punch has priority. Poison jab can poison targets. Both of them super hit fairies. So either one. I prefer poison jab on this particular build, on the simple note that it can poison enemies, which even after he dies can still, even if he dies, it still has the chance of helping you win the match. Now, it's not toxic damage, but tick damage is tick damage, regardless of what type of tick damage it is. It helps, and it's going to do the same amount of damage overall. And it just doesn't have that priority, which he doesn't really need priority, it does help though. And then dual chop, instant kill any dragon. I mean, it hits dragons twice, 40 each hit, but that doesn't really matter because it's super hitting dragons twice. On a Swords Dance on 145 base attack. I don't care what it is. It could be a Garchomp, it's going down. It could be Salamence, it's going down. Charizard, dead too. It kills everything. And then Drain Punch for that sustain, it doubles its on adaptability stab, so it just does insane amounts of damage, and he instant heals if he's almost dead. As long as it's not a ghost, which, I mean, dual chop a ghost is pretty much dead. Poison jab a ghost is pretty much dead too. Most ghosts are glass cannons, unless you have like Sable Eye, but then they're more special tank. Yes, Cofagrigus is a physical tank, but eh. But overall, I mean, Lucario just has so much that I haven't even gone through here. You can drop any of these moves. So let's say we go over here and you don't want to have dual chop because he can coverage out dragons with his Drain Punch or his Bullet Punch. I mean, it doesn't super them, but it doesn't not very effective hit them, so he does neutral damage, which should probably kill them. And you don't want that possible 90%, so you can give him like I mean, you can give him like Blaze Kick for fire damage. It's a high critical hit ratio at 85 damage, 85 power, 10% chance to burn. It's 90%, but I mean, it's a lot of damage off of a fire type move that you can coverage out other steel types or grass types that you couldn't coverage out with your other moves. I mean, obviously your fighting moves coverage out steel. Circle throw, if you don't like what's on the field, you can throw it away. He has so much. It's really hard to actually just pick one thing. Cross chop with that high critical ratio. Yeah, it's only got 80. I don't like 80 accuracy moves because they miss too much. But power 100, high critical hit ratio, stab adaptability on Mega Lucario, that does a ton of damage. He gets Crunch, he gets Extreme Speed for a normal type priority, he gets Facade, but if someone tries to burn you, you can always run the random Facade that no one would expect, and that gives it a 140 power. Your attack cut doesn't count, and you have more than likely have a Swords Dance or two already on you, so you're just going to blow through everything with normal type hits. He gets High Jump Kick, that's 130. Yes, you hurt yourself really bad, but it's got 90% accuracy, which is pretty good. He gets most of the elemental punches. He gets Me First is okay. Is pretty good with his speed. So he outspeeds a lot. You can Me First and copy your opponent's move, which works for certain enemies. At level 50, he does outspeed Gengar unless it's Scarfed. So you could more than likely one-shot kill a Gengar with its own move. Blaziken, if it Brave Birds you, you can outspeed it as long as it has the speed boosted. There's just a lot of things. First is a really tricky technical move to use. He gets Rock Slide for rock type damage. He gets Sky Uppercut, which can hit flying, bouncing, and sky dropping Pokemon. He gets Stone Edge for rock type. Like I said, he gets all the elemental punches, so he gets Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Fire Punch. He just has so much coverage, so many moves, so many possible setups. He gets Psychic, he gets Zen Headbutt, he gets Psychic itself, he gets Toxic, he gets Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball. You can, with the Iron Defense set, you can Iron Defense and then Rest Talk. He becomes a reliable Rest Talker. That's scary. So if we wanted to make him Rest Talk, we could put Rest here and Sleep Talk here. Let him keep the Drain Punch. He gets shut down by ghosts. But as long as no one's running a ghost type, you can Iron Defense until your health is low, Rest, Sleep Talk, hoping for and then Iron Defense or Drain Punch. Either one doesn't really matter. Your health is back at max. And as long as they have a physical attacker in, or only physical attackers, which I see that a lot, then he's not going to die as long as they don't critical hit you, which that happens a lot too. There's just so many different things that he can do that make him extremely powerful. He gets Quick Guard for doubles if you want him to make him more supporty with just make him a physical wall for doubles and give him some support. He gets Quick Guard to cancel out priority. He gets a lot of stat downing moves. He gets he gets a lot. And it's really hard to stop him because he has a move that can super pretty much everything. I mean, he gets Fire, Lightning, Ice, Fighting, Dark, Psychic, Bug, Normal. I'm pretty sure he gets Poison, he gets Ghost, he gets Electric. Let's see, am I missing anything? I think that's all of them. He gets Dragon, he gets Water, he gets Rock, he gets Ground. I am fairly certain he can critical he can super effective hit anything. And it's almost, in most of the attacks he can super effective with are really high hitting damage moves. And that just gives him such diversity and gives him the ability to adapt him to your team, whether he's your Mega or not, that he can fill any role you need. And that's one of the two reasons why he's one of my favorite Pokemon. The other reason is his design. He just looks really cool. Do you not see these guys? I mean, Mega and not Mega, they just look awesome. But I think that's enough Lucario. I've gone on for a really long time on him. I could keep going. There's just so many different builds. I limited myself to 6-ish. I guess 8, because I changed 2 of them to fit other things. But he is just such an awesome Pokemon. And I don't see him run a lot. After the whole Smogon banning Mega Lucario thing, I never just didn't see Lucario anymore. But Lucario non-Mega is just as strong as Mega Lucario, or can be. I mean, he doesn't get the adaptability, but he can still just completely wipe everything off the map. I mean, especially after the ORAS release, with all the move-to-meter moves he gets, and all the coverage that gave him, and all the sustain that it gave him, it just made him an extremely ridiculous Pokemon to deal with and to use. He can be extremely technical, extremely just beeline straight through the enemy. He can be extremely technical. He can be extremely supportive. He can fill any role, and that's what makes him awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I did. I've been looking forward to covering Lucario. I've been putting it off because I knew that the video would be really long. But I was like, I got it. I've got to do it because I've just been wanting to cover him for quite some time. Thank everybody for watching, and have a nice day. This is Idraku, signing out.